And what else are you and your... If you're going to read these books, take...
Is this also how it felt for you lately logging in on Instagram? Because I log in and this is what I see. ACOTAR, and then what? More ACOTAR, and then what? Powerless, and then what? Fourth wing, and then ACOTAR again. It's like we're on this weird carousel and no one knows how to get off. And listen, I'm not here to shame anyone for reading something. Read that dragon book, read that fae book, hell, read them 10, 20 times if you want. But can we just admit something? Booksta and BookTok, I feel like they used to feel exciting. You used to stumble on this weird little story or this weird little book that you've never heard before and you would fall so hard after reading it. But now, it's like, if you haven't read the top 5 most popular book at the moment and you don't talk about it, you're irrelevant. And I will say this, I noticed in my own content that when I talk about popular books, the content does well. But when I talk about more obscure and not popular books, the content kind of flops. Which is ironic because I feel like everyone talks that they need more books, they need more obsession, but they want the same book with the same plot, with the same feelings. You don't want anything new. You want the same ACOTAR, which is so boring. I'm sorry. But here's the thing. I have read most of the popular books on BookTok and bookstagram, especially in my beginner reading journey because, yes, I didn't know where to go. But here's the thing. I keep reading the popular one because I feel like it's expected of me. And guess what? Every time they're mid, or every time they flop, or most of the time they're mid. They're just vibe and spice and the same tropes with different names and different wings. And God forbid you say you hated these sacred books because the BookTok girlies will throw digital rocks at you like you just insulted their mother in the worst way possible. And I am a firm believer to this point that I think because books are so hyped up and that this place has bullied people out of their personal opinion, that a lot of people are lying about liking some of these books because you have been shamed into submission. And yeah, I heard that thing, that book maybe was not right for me, or that book maybe was not right for Jessica because Jessica has a different taste. But no, some of these books are universally bad. Like, you cannot say you read Credence and you say it was a good book. But here's the sad part. I feel like we've made it a little bit uncool to have your own taste. We've made it scary to say, oh, I actually don't like the popular book. I actually like this weird book that just changed me for who I am and just made me think harder about my life and about everything surrounding me. And God forbid you say you like a non-fictional book. That's it. You're shunned out of Booksta and BookTok. I feel like we used to celebrate that type of reading experience that kind of makes you think about what you just read. But I feel like now you can read like, I don't know, like a gem of literature and Tiffany next door will say she hated it because it had too many paragraphs and no spice in it. That you reading? Oh, is this book called Freakonomics? Ooh, sounds slutty. No, actually Freakonomics is called Freakonomics, so it's definitely freaky, right? No, actually it's not even fiction. It's, come on, admit it, it's freaky. You read about freaky gnomes doing the Freakonomics. Is that it? It's Faye over, it's gnomes, the new thing? Girl, your brain is rotted from too much spice. No, honestly, it's just a book about...
I like smut. I like smut. 3 chilies, 4 chilies. Sexy face, freaky gnomes, freaky goblins. I'll be having that.
Okay, I think that got a little bit wild, but you get my point. And I do want to look at some videos with you today that will support my theories, especially BookTok, because I feel like bookstagram is not at that level yet. I think BookTok is specifically harming the idea of being a reader and what it actually means. Some of these things in here are ridiculous, and you'll see what I mean. Let's just watch.
First of all, the writing is so tiny. Second of all, why are the pages so filled with so many words? Like, what the... What?
Why are the pages of a book filled with so many words? Let's just get going.
A everything I read is a flashback. I don't give a about your previous life. I really don't. I just want you to get your fucking high score, and I just want to read action, action, action. I don't care what you did as a child. I just feel like you guys at this point are like, why not follow her? Like, literally, what actual reading does she do? She's not a trustworthy source at all, and you would be correct. Does anyone else skim read their books? And by skim read, I mean only read dialogue. Like, you don't read description. Because personally, I don't care what someone looks like. I don't care where they are. I don't care what they're doing. I care about the conversation. I like pages that aren't filled with this many words. Like, literally, every page is like, look at this. Are you fucking kidding me?
Look at that, guys. Can you believe that? Can you believe a book has words? Oh my goodness. Wow.
Bruh.
Can you believe this girl has 600,000 followers on BookTok? Calm yourself down.
I'm either going to become an alcoholic by the time this book is done, or I'm going to DNF it. Because without this, I cannot finish. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Six of Crows.
So what ended up happening is I'm sitting here reading this new book, and I turn the page, and there's a paragraph on the page this long. It goes from the top of my Kindle to the bottom of my Kindle. It's that long. And I skipped it, okay? I skipped it.
Okay. You got me there.
Again, the full video about TikTok worst book reviewers is on Rachel Oates' YouTube. It's a really good video. But I feel like I want to look more into Yana Reads because she's a bit controversial and she does a lot of... I feel like she became viral because a lot of these type of videos where she's like, I don't care about anything other than the dialogue. I only read dialogues in books. Let's see, maybe she found Six of Crows not good, but maybe she reads other books that are like more thought-provocative or like harder to read, and she just didn't like Six of Crows. Pink fluffy romance, dark romance, pink fluffy romance, dark romance, pink fluffy romance, pink fluffy romance, pink fluffy romance. Very popular fantasy, and we all know how I feel about the Powerless series and where that went. Wow, I'm curious to see what she's gonna say about Summer in the City, because we all know how I feel about this book.
Somebody needs to fucking handcuff me because the things that we do for this man are unspeakable. We are reading Summer in the City by Alex Astor. When I went into this book, I wasn't expecting much. And this book delivered on so many fronts already. Like, I am flabbergasted. He's obviously a billionaire.
He's a billionaire with a cardboard personality. He's literally a piece of cardboard with money. That's all he is. And she
is also a very successful screenwriter. And when they met for the first time, he pretty much insinuated that he would pay for her to sleep with him. And
yeah. Like that's a good thing. Like, that's a normal thing that men do, and that's a healthy thing that men do. Can I just pay for your body?
And ever since then, she absolutely hated him. So fast forward 2 years later, they meet again. But the only difference is that she absolutely despises him.
What's the difference? I thought she hated him and now she hated him. What's the difference, girl?
He pretty much has a mentality of, I can buy everything I want. And she's like, well, not everything, because you cannot buy me. It's also set in New York City. During the summer, the vibes are fucking immaculate. And now they're also fake dating. They're fake fucking dating. Like, Alex, are you fucking kidding me with this book? He took her to a jewelry auction.
I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. It's just, this is so fake. This is so on the surface, and this is the shit that I'm done with. Like, It's fine to love romance. I'm not saying it's not fine to love romance. Provoke your thoughts just a little bit more. It's like there's romance out there that have some backstory, but I think she doesn't like backstories. Anyways, let's look a little bit more into her. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I got bored scrolling on her profile because it's the same book with a different cover over and over and over again. It's just popular romance, fluffy romance, and the most popular fantasy book. I can't get mad at her because the most thought-provoking and the most political book she probably read was Onyx Storm. But jokes aside, as I said, I think if you hate reading long paragraphs and reading about someone's inner struggles or their past or just any details other than the dialogue, I think you should just watch a movie, girl. I feel like creators are just feeding into this idea of being a reader, and being a reader is just trendy. It doesn't really matter what it actually means. Like, reading should only be aesthetic, and they're very anti-intellectualism, and just basically just curating this hot girl reading image. That's all that matters. And I do believe that people's desire to only read romance and fantasy and refusing to be open to any other genres is becoming a little bit of a problem in this space. And my personal problem with skipping over paragraphs or reading only the dialogue is that you are a reviewer. People are listening to your videos to know what books to read next. You chose to open a book reviewing account. You cannot tell people that a book is bad just because it had too many paragraphs for you. Like, of course you're not gonna like it. You missed the entire essence of the book and you gave an opinionated review. Like, imagine this applied into any areas of any other jobs.
So what is it, doctor? Well, my dear, you have cancer. What do you mean? That's not possible. Like, I exercise regularly, I eat healthy, and like, I have no history of that in my family. Like, I don't understand how that can be possible. Well, I think you have cancer because you had a lot of tests done. So I got bored reading all those paragraphs in the middle, so I just skimmed over that. So I think you might have cancer.
What do you mean you skimmed over?
I skimmed over because it had no spice, so I got bored. No spice, zero chilies, zero chili.
Like, imagine that was real world, dude. And the next thing that I want to mention is that maybe not for all of you this is a job. Maybe this is just a hobby. Because we all started reading because it's just an enjoyable hobby. Some of you out here, you're acting like someone is making you read, like forcing you, like putting a book in front of you. Like, people out here are like acting like reading a fantasy book is homework. Like, excuse me? Take your time. No one is forcing you. No one is chasing after you. Just read that book leisurely. And with mentioning this, I want to move into the next section that I found a little bit disturbing lately in this community. And that is the disingenuity. Disingenuity? Because why are we taking sponsorships from businesses that actively hurt authors and books? And why are we lying about our reviews? Ew! Why are we reviewing books that we haven't read? And honestly, I find it infuriating that lately people saying that holding people accountable for their actions is bullying, when the only bullying in this community is you not letting me speak on the books that I like and or me hating on a popular book. Like, we have created this fake friendship bracelet, holding hands. Everything is pink and sparkles and no one should hurt anyone else, and this is just bullshit. If you're gonna be upset with me, babe, I grew up in Eastern Europe. I don't do that. I have content creators that I used to follow and then I unfollowed just because I found them annoying. It was the same video over and over again talking about the same popular book, especially ACOTAR, talking about recent over and over again, and I was just like, this is boring to me. I will unfollow. I don't care about follow to follow or engagement groups or whatever other bullshit that it's so toxic for you. Engagement groups are so popular, especially in the beginning of your journey. I used to be in one and it was the most fucked up shit in there. I'll tell you that. I've seen people fight, people get bitter for not liking, for not taking the time of your day to like their posts. I saw the most catty behavior in there. And I will be honest, I'm still in one of these groups with like some popular content creators, and like I am not throwing people under the bus or something, but people in general just care about you liking what they're posting. When the wheel comes around, it's not the same. And I just think, like, I don't know, engagement groups are not, don't ever get into one. That's another whole video that I could talk about. I think you all know about the drama about the girl taking sponsorships for character AI, and people on BookTok acting in a way that if I posted about this girl making a joke, because at this point Rachel Gillig calling you a parasite, I was howling, because you deserve that. I'm sorry, having that amount of followers and doing this and not knowing that it's bad, you playing the dumb card, being like, I didn't know. Sorry, AI is bad. Anything artistic, AI is bad. Just let me tell you, babe, in case you didn't know. But yeah, their excuses were very like poorly done. But I feel like people jumped, being like, you only know how to bully, blah, 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 by holding someone accountable and not letting this go. Because I feel like the internet, this is another problem with the internet. We let things go too fast. Like, yes, people make mistakes, but at least own to it. And moving on to that and about faking reviews and the pressure of reading 500,275 books a year and what it can do to someone. Because I saw this girl on her story, again, big content creator. I think she had around 200,000 followers on TikTok and 20K on Insta. She posted on her stories, I hope I still have the screenshot, something like, it's time to bullshit some reviews so I don't lose my NetGalley score. And basically was like, don't lie, you're doing this as well. You're not reading books and reviewing them. And I was like, I think it's only yo, babes. People, maybe they'll follow your reviews not only on TikTok. Maybe they'll follow your reviews on Goodreads, NetGalley, whatever. And you're just gonna lie and rate a book that you haven't even read? How am I supposed to trust you? Also, a serious message to this girl, you can take it slow. You can only read 5 books a year, and you can still talk about them on the internet, and you can still talk about other topics than just books. Like, reading is such a vast space that you can talk about your favorite books that you have read in the past, your least favorite books, the last book that you have read, the most loved characters that you like. You can talk about like stuff without having to read all the popular books that come out in order to keep your account relatable. Now, piggybacking on the point that I made, that people are pressured to consume a certain amount of books and like setting crazy challenges on Goodreads and Fables to meet by the end of the year. All of this and the raising number of bookish influencers that will just shove romance and fantasy down your throat and, oh my god, you have to read this book, this will be your new resend. I feel like all these amounted to crazy consumerism in the BookTok community. I am guilty as well of that little dopamine shot that I get when I buy a new book. But I'm not talking about those levels. I am talking obsessive levels of consumerism where people buy 20 or 30 versions of the same books just because it has a different sprayed edge. Or people having more than 100 physical books on their TBR, on their physical TBR, and still buying books. And that is just because you keep seeing new and new books and new fantasy books and new romance books, and these book talkers that maybe they haven't even read them, they're like, you have to read this and you have to read this and you have to read that, and they're all romance and fantasy, and you're like, so it's so hard to keep up with this, so you feel so pressured, so you're like, I need to buy this and I need to buy that and you need to buy that. And those little books that you buy maybe a month ago or a year ago, they just sit there collecting dust because you just read the new book over and over again. And these new books are the same tropes over and over again, and everyone's complaining about being in a reading slump. That's why you're in a reading slump, babes, because you don't take a little break to decide what works for you and what you like, not what other people shove in your faces. And I used to be guilty of all of these. I actually, at the beginning of the year, I took a step back, looked at my physical TBR, counted it, and it was like almost, I think it was over 30 physical books that I haven't read. And to me, that was like already too much. And taking a little step back and not trying to buy every single new book that I've seen on Bookstart, it actually allowed me the time to go to the bookstore and not look for the latest release. Just go to the bookstore and just walk around all the sections, not just romance and fantasy. Look at the covers. Look at the back of the covers. Judge a book by its cover. Just judge a book by its cover, but just be a different book. But the point is, there is a certain pressure that comes with the hot book girl aesthetic, that you have to purchase the latest, hottest, newest romantasy or this hottest new sprayed edge. Also, side note, have you noticed how probably most, if not all, of special edition and sprayed edges are only these romance and fantasy books? Because publishers, they know their audience. They know that these are the obsessive Bookstart and BookTok girlies. They're mostly obsessed with romance and fantasy. No one's gonna buy a sprayed edge of mathematics incorporate, I don't know, something. No one's gonna buy that. They know that these are the main genres that we are reading, and this pressure is just getting bigger and bigger. And I find myself doubting every day about my content. Like, I go back and I'm like, should I post about ACOTAR again because that's what it's doing good? And I fight this urge of posting of like what's popular. But the reality is, talking about this books or thinking about it just gives me more anxiety because I'm just so done with it. Whereas what makes me happy is going and finding a new book and just being excited, genuinely excited to share it with you, because I'm like, look, I found something that I chose for myself and I like, and I think you, my audience, you might like this as well because you follow me for my genuine taste. But yeah, as a closing, and this might be a little bit harsh for some of you, but I do think reading should also be thought-provoking for your brain. It should rattle something in your chest. You should finish a book and go, what did I just read? Think about it. Think about if there's a hidden meaning in that read. All in all, read what you want. No shame. But don't only read what's handed to you over and over again, but just differently packaged. Just step off that toxic carousel sometimes. There's like a whole world of books out there that maybe no one is talking about, and maybe one of these books will change you forever. Let's be brave again. Let's be curious again. Let's just read like no one is watching. I know this is a little bit cringe, but let's read like you don't have to review for someone. Like no one is watching you. Review what you want. Read what you want. And also, before I end up this video, I would also like to thank Beyonce. I'm very grateful for her. But yeah, let me know if you think that the Bookstart and BookTok community are changing and they're a little bit overwhelming and hard to keep up. And I'll see you in the comments, and I'll see you into the next video. Bye!